Mobile phones started as the portable communication device, cutting the cord of household and payphones, and added versatility compared to a pager, allowing us to keep in contact with our businesses, families, and friends whilst out in the world doing what we do. For both young people and adults in the early 2000s, mobile phones were also a fashionable commodity, as new models released with design quirks, gimmicks, and genuinely helpful additions. People enjoyed buying a phone that interested them. The BlackBerry was the businessman's phone, the Nokia an all-rounder. Sony Ericsson combined with Walkman for the music fans. Besides the interesting design variations, games, and ringtones, mobile phones were ultimately a device for communication, sending texts and receiving phone calls. However, mobile phones like the BlackBerry would integrate email for the business users. While we had portable communication in our pockets, at home, particularly the younger generations would be using instant messaging. A number of messaging services would be popular, including MSN Messenger, getting home from work or school to chat with friends, play games, and share early internet memes. Keeping in touch with our friends, both local and international, was a time-consuming hobby. Conversations would be longer and a more instantaneous expectation than the portable text message. Multimedia messaging was expensive and slow on mobile phones. The screens of the devices were small and limited as well, meaning that instant messaging on a desktop computer was much preferable to chat and share. With our communication instant and fully connected, desktop social media would start to form. There are many significant social media platforms that flourished throughout the early to mid-2000s. A few notable examples are GeoCities, MySpace, and Bebo. These platforms would combine the concept of a blog, an online diary of sorts, with instant messaging. The platforms allowed their users to share what was on their mind. As studied in Innovating in a Service-Driven Economy, Facebook managed to beat market leaders MySpace and Friendster in a number of ways, including customer service, assets, and people. Facebook had a strong design, and if you enjoyed the website, encouraging friends and colleagues to join would only improve your experience as well as their user base. With the addition of games, the like button, events, and popular or local businesses, Facebook became more than just a blog network or messaging service. It was a fully fledged social media platform. During the early years of public access to Facebook, the website felt like a positive place to be. There were games like Farmville, Mafia Wars, and the dreaded Bejeweled Blitz. The feed started as a chronological list of posts. However, the format and ordering of the feed would continue to change over time. Facebook has been adapting their news feed algorithm regularly since to maintain user attention and engagement. It is a topic that continues to create discussion on ethics and mental health effects of social media. It's common for users nowadays to find their feeds contain far less posts from friends, but more business, news, or community posts depending. Facebook has acknowledged that this passive use of the platform negatively affects mood. However, using the platform for social engagement can be positive, reflecting that the previous model of Facebook and social media was likely a positive one. With the introduction of sponsored posts in the feed as well as other areas of the platform, Facebook became a fantastic platform for digital marketing. As of 2020, Facebook reported about 1.84 billion daily active users. However, the use of people's data became a point of contention globally, a topic studied in the Netflix political documentary, The Great Hack. Back in the mid-2000s, mobiles that could be considered smartphones emerged on the market, shortly after the Apple iPhone was released, officially the first smartphone. With the iPhone came apps. These light pieces of software allowed companies to offer their services for mobile phones, and with growing popularity, most companies wanted to be on their customers' mobiles. Social media platforms would therefore have mobile versions of their sites for the phone's browser, and also an app, now that our mobiles were no longer simplistic communication devices with fun ringtones. We would start using the devices for so many more reasons: checking maps, researching topics, keeping up with businesses, job applications. Our online lives were now portable, accessible at all times. It would mean we're using the mobile phones a lot more. Early Facebook executive Chamath Palihapitiya said that Facebook and the apps it now owns acknowledges and utilizes dopamine release when designing their websites and applications. Basically, they design their notifications and algorithms in a way that releases good feels dopamine in the user. People are thought to feel connected and happier when they receive notifications. Facebook's first president, Sean Parker, referred to this as exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. It's a social validation feedback loop. You're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology, and we, the creators, understood this consciously, and we did it anyway. This has proven to be addictive. In the documentary The Social Dilemma, executives, designers, engineers, and other former employees of the largest tech companies discuss how the addictiveness of these platforms is a result of deliberate planning to keep users on their app or site. Some even state that they either heavily limit or ban social media use for their own children. We find ourselves looking at our devices, the empty black screen, wondering if we're missing a notification, feeling a fear of missing out, or disconnected without checking. A BBC study refers to the bottomless soup bowls experiment. Participants would eat soup from a bowl that discreetly refilled, resulting in 74% of them eating more soup than they would normally. This is compared to the endless scrolling capabilities of social media platforms. Without a visual sign to stop, many continue longer than they would otherwise. The notifications these platforms use, the pings, badges, and pop-ups, proved successful in user retention and have been used in more cunning ways. You may find social media notifies you about indirect information, such as recent posts that don't actually reference your own profile. Additionally, after a gap in use from the platform, you may find you receive email notifications as well, calling you, the user, to return. The Skinner box experiment, in which a bird presses a switch for a food reward, found that when the reward was irregular, the bird would peck more often. We check our devices in a similar fashion, looking for a new notification, our rewards. This could be out of fear of missing out, our mood, or a specific anxiety. The times we use our mobile phones, outside of their practical fundamental purposes, can be insecurity, low mood, or boredom. As social satirist Marc Maron said of times before mobile devices, there was all this mental space. There are many studies being conducted internationally on whether social media and smart devices cause mental health issues, or whether people with existing mental health issues are more susceptible to the addiction of devices and notifications. Back in 2014, it was reported that Facebook had conducted an experiment in which it was able to manipulate a user's emotions by controlling the content they were exposed to, showing a correlation between mood and social media use. Charlie Brooker, creator of the show Black Mirror, stated, "The Black Mirror of the title is the one you'll find on every wall, on every desk, in the palm of every hand." However, this term has more depth than simply the reflective nature of the glass screen. Due to social media data mining, these large tech companies log patterns in our individual behavior, typically to be sold to advertisers. Due to the complex nature of these algorithms and the data harvested, it seems fair to say that our devices and these companies hold a metaphorical image of who we are. Figuratively speaking, there is a version of ourselves trapped within this device, an imprint of our personalities, our thoughts, anxieties, and mood patterns. Reducing time on our phone, particularly social media, can be a challenge as it is similar to existing addictions such as gambling. Considering methods to quit smoking and drinking by replacing the habit with a less addictive alternative could be helpful. For example, Wikipedia has a front page which updates daily with a featured article, featured image, did you know facts, and an international news section with a decent supply of information is a good alternative to check instead of social media platforms. Some additional tips that could help cut down our mobile use include remove social media apps from your device and remove the quick buttons in browsers to avoid the temptation of checking the endless scrolling platforms. Turn your device into monochrome or grayscale mode. This process varies depending on your device. Without the bright colours, the device becomes a less enjoyable habitat to be immersed in. Coming away from a black and white screen to the colourful world around us creates a helpful contrast to reduce device time. If you have experience with mobile addiction or any tips you found helpful, please comment them below. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe.